business is approval of the minutes.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is tabled requests. Do we have any tabled requests?
No.
No. Do we have any approved requests?
No.
Old business?
Didn't think we had any of that.
Not that we're not gonna talk about here shortly.
Okay. And new business, item 1, Zalestra, submittal of a new drainage plan.
Yeah, I believe they're here. I'll let them talk here.
Let me get Lyle on here too.
But I did bring, Lyle had sent, his, review of this, and I brought one. I think you guys may have already got this electronically, but I went ahead and brought a copy, for you guys to look at. And Jason, you got a copy of this too.
Yeah.
Lyle submittal.
Yep, I got it.
Got that out to us yesterday. Stuff out of the way. You wanna hop up there and stuff?
Hey Lyle, we're in the meeting and we just called this agenda item up, so you go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, members of the Drainage Board. My name's Liam Sawyer. I think you've seen me here before, but I work for Kimway Horn as a civil engineer consultant for Zalestra and Reclamation Solar and also Q-Cells. And we're back up here to request approval of our revised drainage plan and calculations in accordance with Gibson County drainage ordinance. And I would say the majority of the intent of our old plan remained the same, but we had to, due to some design changes, add additional area on the far eastern side, which led to updating our drainage and civil plans. Lyle has reviewed our new submittal, and he has some comments, but they're all, I would say, more coordination comments, not actually design comments. If you see it in the preamble of Lyle there, he is still recommending approval by the Drainage Board, just with us following up on these remaining comments, and that would be our request here. We think we're able to easily accommodate the remaining ones that Lyle has and kind of work through those. There's nothing major design-wise, but we would just request approval per Lyle's recommendation, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Lyle, were you able to hear that?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
And I agree with the statement that all comments that we made were more kind of aesthetic, just minor things. The overall intent of the drainage plan meets the county drainage ordinance.
So at this time, you feel you're confident making a recommendation to go ahead and approve this updated drainage plan for approval?
Yes, that is correct. And any of the little minor revisions, it's really just to make sure, like I said, it's more aesthetics, little minor changes.
All righty, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And before a motion's made, were you getting ready to make a motion?
No, I was getting ready to open the floor for a motion.
Okay. Before any motion is made, we are working out the financials, and I believe that Zalestra would be in a position to commit on the record today to the proposal that was made yesterday to pay an additional supplemental application fee. Can you confirm that on the record? Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes, he said yes.
Okay.
And I think, Liam, I don't mean to step in here, but I think you did, but can you just kind of emphasize overall, you mentioned that this is a drainage plan that has been approved.
Yeah,
And just
so
kind of
I could give the
overview of what's.
Yeah, I could give the history of how we came back to this board. So this drainage plan was approved last August for the original iteration of this, and due to some design changes and some kind of procurement items with the actual solar panels, we had to expand our footprint a little bit, but the 95% of the drainage plan remained and fundamentally the same. We're not changing flow paths from that, but we had to, again, add some additional drainage features on the far eastern side of the site that we felt was clearly a large enough change that we wanted to come back and get your approval again, just because it is, if you were to look at it from what we submitted last August, you would say, wait a second, that area wasn't there, right? So that's what we're looking, and that's why we're back in front now, not that we changed the entire project. So that's kind of how we got here, just to make sure we're following up and coordinating with the county directly.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you working with Lyle. That being said, with the approval of the additional permitting fees, I would open the floor for a motion to accept this.
I'll make that motion.
I second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
One thing I want to mention, maybe while you were up there, you had inquired about the exclusive easement to access
Yeah.
the detention ponds. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll bring this up here, I'm assuming, Clint. So your code reads that there, for any drainage feature, so it would be the same if it was a commercial development, that you need exclusive access easement to that pond. I'm not sure how often it gets done, but we are looking for a potential, I wouldn't say variance, but a difference from that, and working with Scott and the county to do kind of a access and maintenance agreement for the entire site. So the county, Scott's department would still have the rights to go access it, but instead of having, we have like 28 ponds on this, instead of having 28 individual access easements, would be kind of a blanket agreement saying that the county has a right to enter the site to maintain the drainage. And kind of to back up, this is in place to the benefit of the county, and this is in basically every county in Indiana, so that it is the developer and the project's obligation to maintain the drainage features, but for whatever reason, if that does not happen, the county reserves the right for the benefit of the public to go on and clear a drain or clear a ditch, right? So for that, on a typical site, they need an access easement, let's say through a parking lot. But again, we have 28 ponds, that's a lot of individual easements to record and kind of fit through a site. So we're going to recommend or request that we just do like a blanket agreement saying the county has a right to access any of them across the site.
Would you want to, and I assume that's something you would have your lawyers draw up and present
Yeah, so
us?
kind of where we're at in the process. We'll send this to you. So I've worked with Zalestra to modify Boone County, Indiana, so just north of Indianapolis. They have what's called a B&P maintenance and agreement form. So I have taken that and I'm modifying it to kind of work for Gibson County in our project. It is under the legal review as Zalestra right now. And then we'll send that to your team and Scott and Jason to review to make sure it works for Gibson County. But I'm trying to use something that's very established in Indiana already and has worked in other counties.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
a blanket so-called agreement to where the county has access, obviously with your permission,
Yeah.
you know, it's your site,
Yeah.
to where they can go on and inspect and make sure everything's being maintained and upkept. So I'd say as soon as you get that documentation together, we'll have Jason look it over and everything and move forward from there.
So is that another revisement or what?
I would, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that,
So is that another fee?
Just take,
no.
It
that
won't be
wouldn't
there.
No,
It
that's
won't be
just
there.
part of, our ordinance calls for an exclusive easement.
right.
Yeah.
And kind of meaning there's no other easements that could be there. It's
Yeah.
exclusive.
Okay.
And this would just be,
A
just
blanket.
be kind of consistent with, he mentioned another county. And that might be something that we'd want to look at if we ever updated the specs, not the ordinance, but the specs. Because some counties use an agreement, and I found some counties just use, there's so many utilities around like a solar field. that, you know, some counties would use a non-exclusive easement, meaning that, you know, the other utilities can go in that, it's basically a utility easement, you know, and.
Similar to a municipal alley that has water and sewer and gas and
Yeah,
everything down
but an agreement, I don't, you know, I don't see a problem with that, I don't think that, no, that would
Okay.
be.
I'm gonna make sure I won't start adding up on them, so.
No.
So you don't think it would be anything that we would have to amend an ordinance, we just might have to, in the future, make an amendment to some of the specifications
Yeah.
for the
Right.
ordinance.
Yeah, and then I guess if, you know, the agreement, if you guys would be okay with the agreement, I don't see any issues with that. I know one thing that even when we went out and did the construction inspection, that it was quite a, you know, you gotta coordinate with, solar anyway, just to get on the property
Right.
because of, you know, I guess what it is, and probably regulations they have,
Right.
so. Yeah, it would only make sense just to have an agreement, to me.
Yeah, no, I would say for our side, if you look at Lyle's common response letter, and this is already an ordinance, is that like, that these easements and agreements have to be in place, for construction, but I think our request here today would just to be able to modify it from that exclusive easements to a agreement, or non-exclusive easement is what our request would be.
Yep, nope, sounds
Bring,
good.
bring us the paperwork and we'll review it and go from there.
That sounds good.
Right, thank you.
Jason?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is the idea to do a easement on each pond and then a non-exclusive, like blanket easement for access? Or do they just want to do a blanket easement for all of it?
I think a blanket access for all of them,
Yeah,
right?
it's blanket access, so the ponds would still be within a prescribed recorded easement per the ordinance, it's just the more access easement, and the reason for that, and this is again, kind of, in coordination with what I've seen in other counties, where a lot of the actual like detention basins would be within what's there called an urban regulated or drainage easement. Because that gives you permission to work in that area, right? It doesn't mean you could go like change something in the solar field, but that gives the county the permission to perform work on that pond or drainage feature. Just the access easements, again, because it's such a complicated site that there's a lot of crossing utilities, and this just gives an agreement for overall kind of access and maintenance to get there.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Anything else we need to discuss on this? Yes?
Clint.
So, we have Scott here and then Lyle on the phone. We did send over the estimates for the drainage pond. I don't know if they're in position now to approve that or.
I lean on Lyle, I don't know if he's had time to look at that. They're talking about the estimates, I believe for the bond.
Right, yeah.
So the improvements, I guess, the improvements have increased due to this amended, due to the changes. And so I think some numbers for the bond were submitted.
Around 2.8.
And what was it before?
Well, the bond amount is 110% of the total cost, so that's 2.8, but the previous amount that, we approved in August was 2.6, inclusive of that 110%. So roughly.
And I've looked at the information provided and I agree with the dollar amounts they came up with.
And this is just a performance bond that's held,
Yep.
held to make sure that the work is done as per specifications and all that, right? It's not money that actually comes to the county unless there's a major problem. Okay,
Yeah, no,
so do we need a motion to,
Approve that, yes. So a motion to approve the request from the developer.
okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Then one final thing, while we're on the topic of the project, so with the design change and what Liam mentioned, 95% of the project has stayed the same except for that far eastern part. Back in August, we did get approved for the decommissioning bond, which has been posted, if I remember correctly. Do we need to update that decommissioning plan report and revise the bond amount, or can we?
I would say if additional assets have been added, then yes, the decommissioning bond probably needs to be revisited and make sure that it covers everything it needs to.
You've taken the station,
Right.
and it's over in Pike County
That's
now.
in Pike County.
That was where the station was at in Gibson County, is new solar panels.
Right, panels there, yeah,
And the station would have been a lot more valuable than the panels.
yes.
I don't.
So you don't think it
I don't
needs
think anything
reviewed?
needs reviewed. I'm good with it as is, if commissioners are okay with it.
Yeah, I would say, I think, in that August commissioners meeting, you guys approved me on behalf of Celeste to do that decommissioning bond, estimate. And, the substation is just a higher value equipment there, so likely, there's a high likelihood if we looked at that decommissioning bond would be of lower dollar value, so it's kind of to the benefit of the county to probably leave it at the higher value. It's-
So basically, we need no
action.
then, since just, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So, where am I at here?
Hey, Lyle, I think you can, at this point, unless you have.
So, let's see, was that the Clark Dietz, that was Gibson Solar Headquarters, David Witcham? Nobody here by that name? Okay, moving on. Candy, you have a crossing of a regulator drain by Center Point.
I've got, one to cross the Willard, which is the, road just west of Walmart and all of that, where the big ditch and the railroad tracks are. If they're gonna bore under that one, I've got a signed agreement for that. And then I have another one, for Frontier, so if you want it, it's okay with you to get a vote on the, Center Point, I'll go to the Frontier one.
Everything as far as the applications look up to
Yes.
snuff and
All
you don't see any
signed and
problems?
everything filled out, so.
Okay.
I'll open the floor for a motion to accept both of those crossings.
I'll make that motion to accept both crossings.
I second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, discussion items here, Scott. Miller ditch, we got fallen tree removal.
Yes, yeah, that cleanup is still going on. The water got down, he was finally able to get in there and start on that. I went and checked on it last week, it's looking really good. So, hopefully it keeps moving along on that one.
And then also Keg Creek, same thing, trees.
Yeah, Keg Creek, same thing. Those, when I checked on it last week, he hadn't moved up in there yet. I'd imagine, as soon as he's done with the miller, I think there's probably a half a dozen trees that need to come out of Keg Creek. They're along 850, so.
And then completed projects, you had the Donahue lateral to the Claymire.
Yeah, the Donahue, okay, yeah, that one is, completed. If you remember, that one was, just north of 700 South. And, here's some pictures here, if you wanna look through before and after pictures. That particular ditch, the bank was kind of sloughing off, trying to turn a corner there. We were losing quite a bit of material. And went in, and pulled those banks back in those areas. Tried to pull it back where it wasn't going to kind of drive into the bank and erode out the east side of the bank. So not a big job, but it was, I think it'll really help the ditch. And then I think when I went out there, I think you can maybe even see a little straw in one of those pictures, the after pictures. I believe the owner had informed me that he was going to take care of the seeding if we would work on the ditch. So, so hopefully that gets seeded up and is able to stabilize those banks there on the Donahue, just near Mackey there.
And the Claymire?
Yeah, the Claymire, we had just done some work just west of 950 on the Claymire. I actually reported that that was complete there on Cromer, just west of 950 and just east of where the old railroad tracks used to be. And then I got a call from, after the drainage board meeting, I got a call that there was a kind of a huge hole, washout forming, and I couldn't believe it because we'd just been out there to check on that Claymire and take the after pictures, but I ended up going out there and checking, and there was a big hole developing here. I got some pictures of it. I don't know exactly what happened here. I think there's a possibility of a bigger project at some time, maybe next year, next fall or winter, of trying to really straighten this ditch out, because I think the way that the ditch is kind of bouncing back and forth down through there, it's causing, that actually isn't the only place there's washouts. I think there's another washout or two where it's just kind of bouncing back and forth off the banks, isn't it? So, but we went in, felt like that was a little bit of an emergency, so I was able to kind of get somebody out there and get that stabilized. So, so that worked out pretty good. And Larry Mickle reported that to us, so that's pretty nice. We rely on the farmers. We can't be on all these ditches all of the time, and so really appreciate the farmers letting us know about these problems when they see them.
Yeah, that would have swallowed a tractor.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then the Obert lateral?
Yeah, and then the Obert lateral, this lateral had quite a bit. So this is just west of 500, west of Mackey, and west of the interstate, and north of 168. The Obert ditch, actually at 500 east is a kind of a dirt road. It's got a county bridge on it. So we're right in that area, and we had this problem's it's kind of been a problem for a while, but the west end of that Obert ditch had a lot of trees on the bank, and it was really kind of had some private laterals coming into an area from the south and from the north, and it was kind of just pinching it off. But anyway, kind of been sitting there for a while, but we went in and cleared those trees off and kind of opened that blockage up. And you can see here, just west of 500, had all those trees on it. It was kind of blocked. Kind of got opened up now.
And the Hurricane, we did some repairs on it just north of 168. I drive by it daily, so I inspected, and there's a row of corn planted.
Right up to that, yeah. Well, that's looking pretty good. We'll keep an eye on that one. That's one of those ones where, again, it's just kind of bouncing around, getting through that bridge. So a lot of times, we'll keep an eye on that one. Hopefully what we did there, pulling that west bank back, will kind of help stabilize that east bank.
Yep. All right. Does anybody else want to speak to the ditch board? Any public comments? Anything else? I'll open the floor for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Hey, can you get me back to the email? Get me back to the email with the invite. You should not have to log in. I looked it up and